How do you pronounce this? Bisphenol, bisphenol, bisphenol A, right? Yes? Bisphenol A? Gotcha. Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jawad. What I want to talk about in today's video is something that's out there, and it's high estrogen based foods. Now the problem is we can't go starving, but again, I just want to give you 5 foods to avoid because they're loaded with estrogen. Now the problem with estrogen in females is that if females have too much estrogen, what it's going to do is going to lower progesterone. Now with females, they do have a 28-day cycle, so the first half of the cycle is like a teeter-totter. They're estrogen dominant, and then once they ovulate, what happens, the teeter-totter flips over and they become more progesterone dominant. Okay, until they have their cycle if they don't get pregnant, and then it goes back up again. But the problem with high estrogen based foods with females is that it gives symptoms of hypothyroid. It will mess with your immune system. A lot of times autoimmune diseases are due to the fact there's too much estrogen in the body. Or the females will have like chronic fatigue syndrome because of the decreased use of their thyroid. Also too, they'll open themselves up for possible breast cancer and ovarian cancers because in the female anatomy, cancer loves estrogen. And this is a problem why females who have postmenopausal females have to watch out for hormone replacement therapy. Now in guys, we have 80% testosterone, about 20% estrogen. We all start off as females, okay, but by week 9, that's when the Y chromosome kicks in, and that's when males get the boost of testosterone. So we are more testosterone dominant. However, due to the foods out there that are just so loaded with estrogen, what's happening with the young males today, and older males as well, is that they're becoming less testosterone and more estrogen. And that's not good, because if you have too much estrogen in your body, it'll actually decrease the natural production of testosterone in the male anatomy. And what that does, it gives males female characteristics. It will give them impotence. And also too, heart disease. Heart disease in older males is a plethora of reasons, but one of the reasons is not enough testosterone in the system. Okay, and this is due to foods. Now, the average male walking around about 55 to 60 actually has more estrogen in their body than his female spouse, girlfriend, or whatever. So these are just 5 foods to avoid, okay? They're loaded with estrogen. First and foremost on the list is soy. Soy is actually horrible. Soy contains what's called xenoestrogens. And now what xenoestrogens are, those are insulin mimickers. Okay, and they're also too loaded in the GMO foods, the genetically modified organisms. So foods to avoid are soy milk, soy protein powders, and soybeans. They're loaded with estrogen, avoid it. Next one is sugar. Now sugar, too much sugar actually increases estrogen in your system. Also too causes inflammation. But with too much estrogen in the system, again, it lowers the progesterone. So if you're going to have like a sugar, kind of like a complex carbohydrate or a grain, I always recommend the cleanest grain out there, and that's sprouted grains. Okay? But also too, the solution is to avoid the sugar and increase your vegetables and lean, healthy fats. Now, increased vegetables and healthy fats in the diet will actually decrease inflammation, but what it will also do, it will help remove the excess amount of estrogen floating around the cells. Next, I'm going to pair these two up together. Conventional meats and conventional dairy. Okay, because remember, the food at the source is being toxic. So if you're going to have conventional meats, I'm a big fan of grass-fed. Grass-fed beef, grass-fed chicken, wild-caught salmon, things like that. And if you're going to have like a dairy product, I always recommend a raw organic dairy products. Okay? Now the reason with conventional dairy, now a study has been done that the average glass of milk that people are drinking today has over 20 different chemicals and medications. Because what they're doing at the dairy farms, with the cows, they're jacking them up with growth hormone, estradiol, hormone medications, and again, they're feeding them grains, so to counteract that inflammation due to the grains, they're feeding them antibiotics. So really these dairy products at the source are toxic. So that's next to avoid. Now another thing to avoid is BPA plastics, the plastic containers. What they contain, they call bisphenol A. What that is, it's a chemical in the plastic that's actually an insulin mimicker. Now the problem with these bottles is that when they're heated up, actually bisphenol A seeps into the water. Now, it doesn't matter if it's water, Gatorade, anything that's in a plastic. The chemicals are leaking into the substance, into the solution, and we're drinking them. So this is one way that you're increasing your estrogen in your bloodstream without even trying. Now, the problem with too much estrogen, now, if you've seen this lately, this is where young girls, when I was younger, the average female started their menstrual cycle at probably about 14 years old. Now, due to an excessive amount of estrogen, the young females are starting their menstrual cycles, and they're getting more female characteristics by a younger age, 10, 11, and 12, which is before, 30 years ago, it was about 14 or 15. And the young males today, because again, they're feeding them a lot of estrogen in their youth, this is where the young males, they're lacking the male characteristics, and this is where they're getting man boobs at an early age. So, what to do about it? Okay, so then here's what you do. Again, you want to avoid all those foods, the high estrogen based foods, but in addition, what you want to include, you want to eat cruciferous food. Now, cruciferous foods, those are actually anti-estrogenic foods because they contain an ingredient called endo-3-carbinol, and what that does, it's a detoxifier. It will help eliminate the excessive amounts of estrogen in the system to help balance out your body. Now, foods like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, collard greens, there are awesome cruciferous foods in that family to help lower the estrogen levels in the body. Also, too, supplements. I always recommend supplements as well because you can never get too many nutrients in the food because now the foods are nutrient poor. So the two supplements I always recommend are milk thistle and also dandelion root. Those two are also two anti-estrogenic supplements will help lower the estrogen that's in your system. So again, those are 5 foods to avoid. This is what you shall do to help lower the amount of estrogen in the system. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Hello, this is Dr. Jawad. Please subscribe to my channel for more up-to-date videos, and thanks for watching.